Hello, I'm Christine Franklyn, and I'm so happy to be here with Silvana. And we are both health coaches. And for me specifically, I focus on working with busy business owners to help them fit in healthier habits into their life.
And my name is Silvana Siskov. I'm a health coach and nutritionist, and I work with people who want to lose weight, and I work with people who are emotional eaters, comfort eaters, and I'm helping them to lose weight and live their best life and to feel the healthiest they can feel. And today we are going to talk about what is the best diet for weight loss. Because this time of the year, it's January, and lots of people are thinking I should lose weight and I should start dieting, and lots of people are thinking what diet is the best diet for weight loss. So, Christine, how many weight loss diets have you tried?
None.
Okay.
That's an
Okay.
easy answer.
Yeah. Good. That's
Yes.
good. That's very good. You are one in a million, I think.
I know it's true.
Yeah.
No, if I try a specific way of eating, it's just to experiment and see how it feels in my body to see if I get any benefit out of it. Usually it's not even weight loss that I'm thinking about, but just to see if something might give me more energy. And usually I don't take a diet wholesale. I will usually take parts of it that I feel are helpful. So then I end up creating my own specific diet that's unique to me. And that's what I recommend for clients, to go into any way of eating with a sense of experimentation. So even if you're trying to lose weight and you've heard of some diet that is supposed to be really, really good, if you want to try it, fine, as long as it doesn't have any adverse effects that are known. But go into it with a sense of experimentation to see what feels good to you and take that element, because most likely everything is not going to feel good and everything may not taste good. And then how sustainable is that? You're not going to keep it up. It's going to be short-term weight loss, and then you're going to go back to the way you were because you can't sustain it because you don't enjoy it. So if there's something that works well for you, then adopt that and leave the rest out. And keep in mind just what healthy eating is. As long as you're eating healthy, that's the main thing. If you're eating healthy with a focus on fresh fruits and vegetables, and you're not packing in a lot of junk food, and everybody knows what junk food is, so this is not something that you have to really try too hard to figure out, then eating healthy helps you to manage your weight. And for me, that's the approach that I prefer to take. That's the direction that I highly recommend, rather than trying to restrict yourself with a particular diet for weight loss. What about you, Silvana? What do you think?
I agree with everything you said. And I just want to mention the diets that I tried in the past. And we are talking like a 20 whatever years ago. I tried Atkins diet.
Ah.
I tried cabbage diet. And I tried egg diet.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So cabbage diet, I think I managed for quite a few weeks. I think probably 3 weeks it was, and basically it was very healthy in a way, because it was just it involved just cooking lots of cabbage,
Yes.
and lots of other vegetables. But I mean, that was like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And friend of mine used to follow the same diet at the same time, and she lived not far from me at the time, and we used to invite each other for a dinner. And it was like, oh, you want to come for a dinner? Oh yes, what are you having? A cabbage soup. Oh great. 2 days later she said, you want to come for a dinner? Yes, what are you having? Cabbage soup.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I know. And by the end of 3 weeks, I was absolutely sick of it. It's very healthy in a way, but because
Yes.
it not only you include cabbage there, but you include lots and lots of vegetables. It's very healthy, but that was the only thing. We had for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, just a constantly cabbage soup. Yeah, and the egg diet was again just a lots of eggs. And Atkins diet, I think most people are familiar with that. It's a low carbs diet, we're going to discuss that in a little while. But I just want to say, kind of in my case, and I noticed with lots of people, you reduce the carbohydrates in your food, and then I mean, you reduce the food with lots of carbohydrates, but then after a while you kind of lose weight, but then after a while when you start eating carbs, you tend to put it back on. And that is a case with lots of people I know, and that happened to me as well. I never really been overweight. It's just a kind of, I used to do it simply because I wanted to lose a couple of kilos or something. But yeah, I think it would be a good idea kind of now just to kind of to look at some diets that people kind of tend to go for, and they believe they are very good for weight loss. So like first diet I'm thinking of is a low fat diet. Yeah, what do you think of that?
Well, I think that first of all, we need to be clear on what we mean by fat, because there's healthy fat and there's unhealthy fat. And with the low fat diet and what we used to hear about fats in general, they were all lumped into one category. And we just generally used to hear fats are bad. Anything with fat should be eliminated. Go for the low fat option. But there are a couple of potential issues there, I think. One is that you might lose out on those healthy fats that, will benefit you, because your brain tissue, your cells, there are all these various parts of your body that are made up of fat. And your body does need some fatty tissue, not the stored fat that, leads to us wanting to lose weight, but healthy fatty tissue to help the body function in the way that it's supposed to. So, that's part of the mechanism of this wonderful body that we have. And we should not put that aside and disregard that, because we're only thinking about fat in the context of gaining weight. And so there are the healthy fats, which we can get into a bit more, but also when you look at the low fat options, usually it's fat being eliminated from something that would naturally have fat in it. So,
and they add what?
Yes, exactly. And there's always going to be something. Yes, that's exactly it. So the question always is, and that fat usually gives whatever you're eating a specific taste and texture. And they'll never want you to lose that, because usually it's a texture that you like, that you're familiar with. So something is going to be added in there by that food manufacturer to replace the fat that would naturally have been there. And then it's going to be something artificial, because it's not something that was naturally occurring in the food. Yeah. So that's not the way we want to go either, because we want to stick as closely as possible to what nature provides us. So I usually say, if you're going to eat something, just eat it, because at least you're eating it in its natural form. So if you're going to eat cheese, you already know that cheese has fat in it. If you're going to eat it once in a while, just eat real cheese. Like, please just let it be real. Yeah. I'm all about eating real food. So that's my take on it. What do you think?
Yeah, and as we said, I mean, lots of times they remove the fat, but then they add the sugar. Usually, a low-fat food is high in sugar, and that's the problem. And we already discussed a few weeks ago. We talked about the sugar and the damage of sugar and all that, and it's a real problem. And not many people are aware of it. They think the low-fat food is healthy for them, but then it's they remove the fat and replace it with something that's so unhealthy. That's and as you said, there is a big difference between good fat and the bad fat. And I think really people need to educate themselves about what's good fat and what's a bad fat. And our body are we have millions, billions of cells in our bodies, and they are made of fat, and we need it. as you said, you already mentioned. So yeah, to completely remove fat from our diets, it could be quite damaging, and it could be damaging for our hormones, especially, especially for women who go through menopause and things like that, and they want to lose weight, they remove all the fat from their diet, and it doesn't do any favor to them.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so true. So
Yeah.
before you jump into any diet for weight loss, it's best to do some research and see what the benefits or the disadvantages may be, and then weigh the two, because there are likely to be some disadvantages that have already been well noted. So it's worth your while to do a little bit of research first.
Okay, let's quickly go through some other popular diets. Another one is a low-calorie diet. What do you think of that?
Wow. I have a fast metabolism, right?
Right.
So I can tell you for sure, low-calorie diets definitely don't work for people like me who need fuel. My body's constantly looking for fuel, especially if I'm working hard and my schedule is pretty busy and my brain is using up a lot of that fuel. And just in general, I mean, we all need calories, So as much as we like to run to low calorie food, we need calories for fuel. That's how the body works. We just don't need excess calories. But if you go the low calorie route, you are running the risk of giving yourself less fuel than your body needs. And then you end up depleted. And what happens when you end up depleted? There are all sorts of health challenges that can happen, but at the very least, you end up hungrier than you were before, and then you overeat to compensate for all that time that you've deprived your body. So I am not a fan of the low-calorie diet. There are also different qualities of calories. So you can have calories in a certain amount, but X amount of calories of junk food versus X amount of calories from vegetables that may have some starchy content, that's totally different. Although the number of calories may be the same, the quality of the calories is totally different. So watching just the number is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, 100 calories of broccoli and 100 calories of chocolate, that's totally different.
Exactly.
But also what I noticed, like when people, especially women, when they reduce lots of calories, kind of, they tend to their period stop. They might lose hair as well, which could be a real problem. And yeah, I mean, it can have lots of health disadvantages of following low-calorie diet. So yeah, really need to be careful if you want to go down that route.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, and another diet which is very, very popular with dieters is the low carbs diet, which I mentioned early on. I used to follow Atkins diet for a while. And what do you think of that?
Well, someone who was following the Atkins diet told me one thing that was beneficial. They did tell me to minimize the amount of bread that I was eating. This was back in the day when I was in my early 20s, and I loved bread. I loved baked goods, and it didn't have to be something sweet. It just had to be bread, right? Of course, which turns to sugar in your body anyway. And so I always felt like my stomach was a little bit rounded. So I wanted to lose that extra belly fat, right? So when he told me that was his secret, I thought, okay, let me try it. And it actually did work, right? I did lose the belly fat. And the main thing, though, for me is that I realized that I could actually live without bread. Not completely, but minimizing it. And that was life-changing for me because, when you're so used to eating something, you think, oh, well, this is what I like. This is what I'll always eat. I can't do without it. But by training my body to not look for it anymore, eventually I just didn't think about it anymore. And so that's, for me, one element that, as I said, I could take from a specific diet, but not follow the entire diet. And that was one element that was helpful to me. But generally, I think it's a little tricky, just like the low-fat diet or the low-calorie diet, to follow something that is just low-carb at all, period. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, we need
Mm-hmm.
carbs for fuel. That's an important source of fuel in the
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
what do you think?
the problem is, and another popular diet is intermittent fasting, which we discussed a few weeks ago, didn't we? I think the problem is with most of this diet that if they are not followed properly, they can be very, very damaging. So, for
Yes.
instance, with Atkins diet, which is a low carbs diet, and I used to follow it for quite a few weeks. We are talking now, oh God, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. And I didn't know much about nutrition. So the problem is that at the time, I really wanted to reduce my my carbs intake, and I used to just have a block of cheese, big huge block of cheese,
Wow.
thinking like this is low carbs, I'm okay. And
Ah,
I was losing weight, but I mean, how healthy was that?
of course.
I used to have like a block of cheese, and then for dinner, 5 fried eggs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I thought, well, I'm doing it correctly. I'm just
Right.
following low carbs diet, and that is the problem.
Yes.
So most of these diets have a good intentions, but if you, it depends how far you're gonna push, really.
Yes.
um I really wanted to follow it kind of properly in a way. I'm gonna really, I was saying to myself, I'm gonna really reduce my carbohydrate intake as much as I can, and that's what I was doing, ignoring the fact that I was eating then too much fats,
Yes.
too much everything.
Yes.
I never checked my cholesterol levels at the time, but I can
Mm.
just imagine what it was
Oh
like.
yeah.
But yeah, um, but yeah, I used to. I remember I remember eating a lot, but then losing weight, which was kind of good. But then the problem was like a few weeks later when I went back to the normal type of eating, I put all the way back straight on,
Hmm.
and that's usually the case.
Yes. That's so true. And again, it's that whole category because all carbs are not bad. I mean, they're complex
Yeah. Yeah.
carbs.
Yes.
They're carbohydrates you can get from vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
So when everything is lumped into one category, sometimes that's so dangerous because we miss out
Mm-hmm.
on the healthy aspects. They're
Mm-hmm.
healthy carbs that definitely your body can use
Mm.
very, very efficiently.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, so I mean, there are lots of diets out there, and they can help the weight loss or can make you unhealthy. And I think it's really up to each individual to investigate what's good, what's bad, what really works for them. And yeah, as I said earlier, kind of I tried the two fad diets, which was egg diet and a cabbage diet, and I tried Atkins diet. Those are the only three kind of weight loss diet that I tried. Well, my suggestion is really to people, as you said earlier, kind of look at all the diets and pick the best of everything and create your own thing. But I think the problem is, and we are always kind of coming back to it, most people know what they should be eating, and the problem is they're not eating it.
Yes.
So, and they are looking for this magic pill that's going to help them
Yes.
to lose weight. They're looking for something that's gonna they don't want to make any effort, or they want to make very little effort, and they want to lose all the excess weight within a week. And I
Yes.
think that's the problem with majority of people out there who wants to lose weight.
It's true. Or they make the effort just for a very short, specific period of
Yeah,
time to get to their
yeah,
goal.
yeah,
But they
yeah,
always ask, then what?
yeah,
Then how are
yeah.
you going to eat after this to manage
Yes,
your?
yes, yeah. I know lots of people who's been on a liquid diet, and I know one particular person I'm thinking of. She used to be on a liquid diet for a month, I think, and then of
Wow.
course when she started to eat real food, she put it back on very, very
Of course.
quickly. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, what is the best diet for weight loss? What did we
Your
conclude?
unique diet. That's the best diet. Your
Yeah,
unique, healthy diet.
yeah, yeah. There is no magic pill, and there
Yes.
is, we all know more or less what we should be eating, what we shouldn't be eating. And as we mentioned, kind of like, as we mentioned when we talked about a low-fat diet, there is a good fat and the bad fat, and with calories, and there are good calories, there are bad calories. With carbohydrates, there are good carbohydrates and bad carbohydrates. I think really it depends on each individual how much effort they want to make and learn about it, what's good, what's bad for them. And they make their own conclusion. But I think the problem is that lots of people want to follow diet that has a name.
Yes.
They feel like, oh, because this diet has a name, therefore it must be a good diet.
Yes.
Uh,
It gives it credibility and it must give
yes,
results. Everybody
yeah,
knows.
yeah. So they look for this diet that has a name. But which diet is the best? Well, everybody is gonna say my diet is the best, whatever diet it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've
So
covered a lot today and hopefully it's been helpful. Hopefully
mm.
this is a whole new way of thinking about weight loss and how you eat in
Yes,
general.
yeah, exactly how you eat. So next week, it's gonna be interesting one. We are going to talk about, can we trust food labels?
Ah,
Oh, yeah,
that's a
that's
good
gonna be a really
one.
good one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I look forward to see you next week.
See you then.
Bye.